Okay, this is Dr. Davis, PE 381, Exercise Physiology for Spring 2021. This is the video where we're going to talk a little more in detail about grading, okay, and how the grades work. One thing that I forgot to share with you in the first video is that I will not be posting PowerPoint slides at all this year. Your job is to go through the videos and the textbooks and all that sort of thing beforehand. Okay, that way as you go through them, watch the videos, that sort of thing, you can take notes on what you think is important, what stands out to you, what helps you understand. Okay, I know that many of you will not like this, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so it's up to you to create your own notes as opposed to you just copying everything that I write down on a slide. Now, obviously, if you want to copy everything that's on a slide, that's completely up to you. Okay, so the exams are going to be offered just like they were for those of you that took 220 from me. If you haven't had a class from me, I don't offer classes or exams in class. The reason being is that I have a lot of material I have to go over. Okay, I talk fast as it is. I'm trying really hard to slow down, but I talk pretty quick. And so in an effort to kind of help me slow down and not rush through things, I've realized that if I don't offer exams in class, that gives me 3 or 4 more extra class periods. I haven't added material, but I can slow down. The exam times during a week of exam are Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. The exams will be offered at these times. Before each exam, you'll sign up for a time slot. Okay, it's not like, and when I say that, meaning that, let's say you decide I want to take exam 1 Monday at 10 o'clock, whatever day that is. That doesn't mean that the remaining exams you always have to take Monday at 10 o'clock. Okay, so before each exam, about 3 or 4 days before, an email will go out and you fill out a doodle poll. Okay, and then what happens is you show up and you take your exam. Okay. Along those lines, please, if you take it early, don't share what's on the exam with other people. That constitutes cheating, and we had a big issue with this last semester, and it's still really frustrates me. So please don't share that. And really, at the end of the day, you're only hurting yourself, because if you give all the questions to somebody and let them know what's going to be on the exam, then they do really well. That one will mess up any curve that might be available. And 2, that's just, I don't know, you're making it really easy for someone relative to you. Like if you studied really hard, but then you give all the answers to somebody else or all the questions. I just don't understand that. So please don't do it. If I find out about it, there will be pretty severe consequences. Okay, so just to give you a little more detail, in class worth 80%, it's going to be 48 minutes. Last 12 of those 48 minutes, you can use your external brains. Okay, your external brains can contain your EB assignments from both 220 and 381, and your notes. You are not allowed to include any slides from any class. Okay, so it's just anything that is your own creation. Now, if as you go through the videos and stuff, you create notes and they're similar or even exact to what I posted, like are the PowerPoints that I used, that's fine because you've actually done something. But you just copying and pasting or just taking old printouts, that's not going to fly. And this goes for slides that were used last semester. So if you are found with slides from last semester from a friend in your EB, you will fail the exam with a 0. Okay. This also requires lockdown browser. So just make sure that you're aware of that. Out of class portion, it's going to be the exact same questions you can do in your groups. You can do during SI sessions. You can do by yourself. You can come talk to me. I won't give you answers, but I'll help you. And you have about 72 hours to complete. It's from Wednesday night, I think, until Friday night. I can't remember. It's either Friday or Saturday night. I'd have to look to see what I've got in the syllabus. There's almost always an extra credit question that has to do with some random fact about me that will either pop up during class or during a review session. Okay, generally during a review session. The final exam, there's basically 2 parts. What I call exam 5, which goes over material just from the last 3 weeks of class, and then the comprehensive final. Okay, comprehensive is everything is fair game, but you'll likely have seen many of these questions. For both of them, you will have an out-of-class portion, but on the comprehensive exam, it's optional. You can take it, and if it helps your grade, it will be added. If it doesn't help your grade, like if it would make your grade worse, we just ignore it. When it comes to your grading or your exams, remember it's 50%. There's 7 different ways that I calculate it. And so basically what happens here, what each of these boxes represent is that for Paradigm 1, Exam 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, each are worth 15%. The final's worth 25%. Whereas with Paradigm 4, Exams 1 through 5 are worth 17.5. Exam 3, we just get rid of because maybe you did poorly on it. And then the final's worth 30%. I want you to notice here that the comprehensive final can be worth 75% of your grade. That only happens if you do really well. That means that comprehensive final can be worth 37.5% of your final grade. So let's just say that this is what somebody did. Remember, these are all weighted averages. And so what ultimately happens is it would pick this one. And your overall exam score would be 83.8%. Blackboard is constantly calculating it, so you don't have to ask me to drop anything, and it drops exams all the time. So just to give you an idea as we go through this here, after Exam 1, a student's exam score would say 70%. After Exam 2, it would say 75%, okay, because it's just taking the average of these two and dropping this one. Okay, at the end of Exam 3, it would be up to an 80, because again, it's only averaging these 3, so on and so forth, okay? So just be aware of that. External brains are due before class at 10 o'clock every morning, or before each class at 10 o'clock. There, I think, are no more than 5 questions, and we're going to cover those topics in class. You need to upload and submit on Blackboard. I never accept anything via email, and I never accept anything like hard copy. Like everything has to be uploaded if you want me to grade it, okay? And I would encourage you to bring a hard copy to class so you can update. The reason being is that you're not graded on content, and so you're likely going to make mistakes. You're graded on 3 things. Did you answer the question? Did you cite your references? And is it neat? Note, you cannot cite my PowerPoint slides. Okay? So, let me reiterate, you cannot cite my PowerPoint slides. You're going to have them beforehand, but you cannot cite them. Okay? If you copy and paste a bunch of stuff, you can get a 0. If you copy and paste a diagram, which is fine most of the time, you need to summarize what that diagram is telling me or telling you. If you don't, you're going to get a 25% deduction on the EB. Okay. My goal is to provide feedback to all assignments by 8 o'clock before the next class. It's going to be tough, but I do my best. When it comes to the exam, you're going to need to have a printed out hard copy, put in a 3-ring binder, and you bring to the exam. Okay. You can't, especially with COVID, I can't have you just scattering papers willy-nilly. And if you do, you'll be asked to put your external brain away. When it comes to citations, here's what you need to include. Don't just trust Word or something like that, but we're looking for APA format. Okay. And I want them at the end of the document. Okay. So you don't need to give me individual citations for each question. Just give me basically almost like a reference sheet at the end. Okay. But it needs to be full citations. The reason I do these external brains is that you start the learning process. You're scaffolding for new material. You're building the foundation for this new material. You're starting everything. Okay. Then when you come to class, we update them. We fix them. We answer questions. Okay. You've likely made mistakes, which is great. I love it. Okay. We fix those in class so things are better. Okay. When it comes down to it, it's really interesting in talking to many students, not all, but many, students that do really well in class seem to appreciate external brains. I've had many nursing students. I know none of you are nursing students in this class, but that it's really benefited them. I've had students go on to grad school when I was at U of O that have told me that they've referenced back to their EBs and it's benefited them. Okay, so generally, students that do well really like them. Students that don't do so well, don't put so much time in them, hate them, think they're busy work, this, that, and the other. Okay, and so they're not getting out of them what the intent is. Quizzes. So you're going to have quizzes due before every exam. These are due at 10 o'clock. You have one attempt, but there's no time limit. You can start it, stop it, save it. You can work with others on it, okay? But basically, this is just to help you figure out, or help me see if you're grasping material before you come to class. Then we've got the weekly quizzes that are due Fridays at 10. These are like the ones that we use, or that I've always done. You get 10 times to take them. As long as you get one attempt that's got an 85% or greater, you get full credit. 85% or greater equals 100%, which I have to go manually change. Less than 85%, your exam score or your quiz score is 0. The reason we do these is that this lets you know, especially on these weekly quizzes, where you're at. Are you understanding the material? Okay, but it's not a huge risk. It's pretty low stakes because you got so many chances. Now, if you're just one of those people that's like, I'm just going to take it over and over, and by the process of elimination, try and figure out what the answer is, well, that's your prerogative, but they're not going to be that beneficial then. Participation, we're going to be using clickers, in-class activities, online surveys, writing assignments to determine this score. In order to receive full points, you need to earn 80%. Based on what I've mapped out, there are going to be 150 points available this semester. That means you only need to do 120 to get your full participation grade. If for whatever reason you get less, let's say you only get 90 instead of 120, well, your participation grade will still be a 75% as opposed to a 60%. If you earn every participation point, that's 150, then you'd get your grade to be 150 out of 120, which is 125%. That will result in your overall grade being increased by 1.25 percentage points. That's kind of where my extra credit lies. Okay, so if you do all of them, you can get an extra 1.25% on your final grade. But don't be dumb. Okay, so if you're caught using multiple clickers, you're going to get a 0 for your participation grade for the semester, both you and the person that you're clicking in for. Okay, clicker questions are going to start on January 18th. Okay, you can't make up missed participation points. Why? Because I only make you take or get 80% of them. And some of you are like, well, I could still get the extra credit. That's true, but it's extra credit then is kind of what we're at. And I've never had anybody, to my knowledge, where if they had gotten 2 extra participation points, that would have increased their grade. Okay, so with clickers, you can use your phone. If you use your phone, you need to use or download the ResponseWare app. You'll also need to purchase a license, which for this semester costs $9.99. If you've already got an active license, too bad, so sad. But if you don't, you only need to spend $9.99 purchasing one. I believe you have to do that through their website, and there's instructions on Blackboard. You do not need a clicker. If you want a clicker, if you prefer to have a physical clicker, don't buy one. Come check one out and borrow one from me for the semester. I've got like 300 of them. SIs. So we've got Jensen and Brooke, who are SIs for the second semester for PE 381. SI sessions are going to be 4:30 to 6 on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and they're all going to be on the second floor of the arena. Okay? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4:30 to 6. You need to attend at least 4. Okay? But here's the thing, especially if you haven't had 220 from me. You need to attend sessions before or during one of these exam periods. I can't talk. You need to attend at least 4 sessions during 4 of these exam periods. Okay, it's a total of 4. So you can skip out on the first one, that's fine, but then as long as you attend an SI session during exam 2, exam 3, exam 4, exam 5, you're fine. Okay, so yeah, if you just went to 4 SI sessions during the exam 1 period and never went the rest of the semester, cool, but you only get credit for going during this first one. Okay. We're trying to do a better job of making sure that there's a predetermined activity, Kahoot, that sort of thing, to help you with it. Going to these are worth 5 participation points. There will be a writing assignment every week. Okay, they're not long. Some of them are really short, but none of them are very long. They're worth 3 points each. Okay. This is to help me understand what you understand. This is going to help improve your writing skills, which is actually the main reason that I do it. They're not necessarily graded on correctness, so don't copy and paste from Google or you will lose 5% of your grade. You'll just get a 0 for the entire semester participation. Okay? As long as you answer or attempt to answer the question I asked, you'll get your points. But if you copy and paste from Google or anywhere else, you'll get a 0. I report it to the Office of Student Conduct. Okay, so that is a basic overview of the grading. If you have questions on the first day of class, you can ask them. If not, I will probably reference you back to the syllabus. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.